The Justice Department has subpoenaed Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and other state officials. It's part of an investigation into whether they obstructed or impeded law enforcement during an immigration operation in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. Sources say the subpoenas, which are seeking records, were sent to the mayors of those cities.
And this comes after the government asked a judge to reject efforts to stop the immigration enforcement surge in Minneapolis. The state filed a lawsuit soon after an ICE agent shot and killed U.S. citizen Renee Good. The Trump administration argues that it was in self-defense. It's still not clear when the judge will make a decision in this case.
Joining us now, our chief legal analyst, Khalif Rhodes. They're being, I guess, subpoenaed for obstructing an immigration enforcement investigation. How does this all play out? And it's interesting that you're having the government subpoena the government.
It is the government definitely subpoenaing the government. This is, I say it a lot here, that we're a litigious society. This is nothing different than what we're seeing on a regular basis with, person to person. This is just state versus federal government. But this is obstruction of federal operations. That's what they are alleging. And so if I need to, or I guess prove my case, I need to get access to certain things. And so when I subpoena you, I'm not just subpoenaing you, I'm subpoenaing certain documents. I want to see text messages, any type of communications, emails that can show or can prove my case. So how do they need to prove their case? First, federal action was taking place. Well, we know they were in Minneapolis. We know they were in Minnesota. Defendants knew about it. Well, folks knew that they were there, so that's an easy one. These last two are going to be a little bit harder. There was an intentional interference. That's why they need the text messages. Do I have text messages or email that say, go interfere in some capacity? And was there an overt act? Even if there are text messages that say they want to do something and have a plan, did they carry out that plan? Those last two are going to be a lot harder for the federal government to prove, but they're seeking and looking to try to find that information. And the only way you can find it is force them to turn it over.
Khalif, maybe the answer to my question is based on what evidence you're able to come up with in this case, but which would you rather defend? The federal officers in this case or Minnesota governor and Minneapolis mayor?
It depends on the case. As you mentioned before, the state attempted to sue the federal government to remove them from the state, correct? And I'd like to represent the federal government in that case. Why? Because the federal government has the law on their side. The immigration is clearly a federal issue. Any judge that looks at this that decides that the state have the authority to kick them out would be wrong, because the federal government, again, has authority. However, there are cases where the state has asked the federal government and asked a court to stop the agents from doing a number of things. A judge has already ruled that you guys can't pepper spray people if they're observing. You can't just target them. You can't just arrest them. You can't just pull them over. They have a right to observe if they're just following your car. These are a number of things that the state of Minnesota, Minneapolis and Minnesota combined has filed against the federal government, and the judge has ruled in their favor. So in that case, I'd like them, because the law is on their side as well. I'd like to be on just to represent whoever the law supports. And a lot of these folks are attempting to file claims that aren't supported by law, and then you see judges smacking them right down. So those are two examples where both sides strongly believe they had a case, and the judge was like, no, you really don't.
So let's say we get the documents and it is found that they prove those last 2 points that you mentioned. What's the potential penalty that those state lawmakers would be facing?
I mean, this is conspiracy. I mean, and so it's both criminal and civil. I mean, you have monetary and you have actual jail time. And so if you're saying the governor or the mayor or anyone else that was connected, those individuals could actually do jail time. 18 USC 1505 would be the first one that they would go after. 18 USC 111 as well, assaulting or resisting. So if it was some conspiracy, and not only did they tell folks to do it, but they assisted and directed them to do it, both of those U.S. codes would allow an individual to do active time. And so the punishment could be severe, but likely it would be more of a civil penalty. You'd probably see some type of consent decree enforcing them to comply with state officials. And that's probably the last thing I'll say that will be an issue with these cases.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.